This is Land of Havilah, Ezekiel 48, the last chapter of the book. Yahweh was just saying that in the coming age the land will be allotted to the tribes of Israel, tribe by tribe, and that resident foreigners will live among them. In whatever tribe the foreigner lives, there Israel shall give him his inheritance. Now going on, verse 1. Now these are the names of the tribes from the north end beside the way of Hethlon to the entrance of Hamath, Hazar-Enan at the border of Damascus, northward beside Hamath, and they shall have their sides east and west. Dan, one portion. By the border of Dan from the east side to the west side, Asher, one portion. By the border of Asher from the east side even to the west side, Naphtali, one portion. By the border of Naphtali from the east side to the west side, Manasseh, one portion. By the border of Manasseh from the east side to the west side, Ephraim, one portion. By the border of Ephraim from the east side even to the west side, Reuben, one portion. By the border of Reuben from the east side to the west side, Judah, one portion. By the border of Judah from the east side to the west side shall be the offering which you shall offer 25,000 reeds in width, and in length as one of the portions, from the east side to the west side, and the sanctuary shall be in the middle of it. Comment in this chapter, Yahweh describes how the land will be divided in the coming age. In verses 1 to 8, each tribe will have a strip of land running the full width of Israel from east to west. This will probably make each territory relatively narrow north to south. In the far north there will be Dan, and going south like rungs on a ladder, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Ephraim, Reuben, and Judah. In verse 8, below Judah there will be a portion of land the same as the tribal lands in its east-west borders, and north to south is 25,000 cubits, or 8.3 miles. This is the land Yahweh's already described for the prince, priest, sanctuary, Levites, and all Israel. Together Yahweh calls the prince's land and the square-shaped land within it the offering in verse 8, because Israel will offer it for the purposes Yahweh has described. The 25,000 square cubits in the middle of it, he also calls the offering or holy offering. Now Yahweh will describe all that a little further. Verse 9. The offering that you shall offer to Yahweh shall be 25,000 reeds in length and 10,000 in width. For these, even for the priests, shall be the holy offering. Toward the north, 25,000 in length, and toward the west, 10,000 in width, and toward the east, 10,000 in width, and toward the south, 25,000 in length. And the sanctuary of Yahweh shall be in the middle of it. It shall be for the priests who are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, who have kept my instruction, who didn't go astray when the children of Israel went astray, as the Levites went astray. It shall be to them an offering from the offering of the land, a most holy thing, by the border of the Levites. Comment in verses 9 to 12, within the 8.3 square mile area, there will be a strip of land running the full width of the square east to west, and is 3.3 miles north to south. This is the priest's land. The Levites' land and the common land will be above and below that. In verse 10, the land for Yahweh's sanctuary is in the middle of the priest's land, and as a reminder, Yahweh's sanctuary had an outer wall of about 1 mile square, Ezekiel 42:20, and inside that the outer court was only about 2/10 of a mile square. In verse 11, in that day Yahweh will award the priesthood to the descendants of Zadok who were faithful to Yahweh's instruction. This was during times when the rest of Israel went astray, including the Levites and many of the priests. In verse 12, Israel will set aside the priest's land as an offering to Yahweh. From that, the priest will set aside the 1 square mile portion which is walled off for the holy limits of the sanctuary. Thus, that 1 square mile portion is an offering from an offering in verse 12. It's most holy. Coming up, the Levites' land will border the priest's land, verse 13. Answerable to the border of the priests, the Levites shall have 25,000 in length and 10,000 in width. All the length shall be 25,000, and the width 10,000. They shall sell none of it, nor exchange it, nor shall the first fruits of the land be alienated, for it's holy to Yahweh. Comment in verses 13 and 14, also within the 8.3 square, the Levites will have a portion the same size and shape as the priest's portion, 8.3 by 3.3 miles. The Levites' land is also holy to Yahweh. The Levites shall not sell it, exchange it, or alienate it from Yahweh in any way. Even the fruit and produce of the land is holy and shall not be sold. Thus the land is Yahweh's, and the Levites only live there. Coming up after accounting for the priest portion and the Levites portion, there's one more strip of land within the 8.3 miles square. That land will be adjacent to the priest area, making it close to the sanctuary. It runs 8.3 miles east to west and 1.66 miles north to south, is for common use, which probably means the visitors to Yahweh's temple will book their accommodations there, since Isaiah said the nations will flow there, Isaiah 2:2, and since anyone in their right mind will want to visit Yahweh's temple, no doubt this strip of land will be in high demand. The description of it, verse 15. The 5,000 that are left in the width in front of the 25,000 shall be for common use, for the city, for dwelling, and for pasture lands, and the city shall be in the middle of it. These shall be its measurements: the north side 4,500, and the south side 4,500, and on the east side 4,500, and on the west side 4,500. The city shall have pasture lands, toward the north 250, and toward the south 250, and toward the east 250, and toward the west 250. The remainder in length alongside the holy offering shall be 10,000 eastward and 10,000 westward, and it shall be alongside the holy offering. Comment: the land for common use was also called the land for the whole house of Israel 3 chapters ago, chapter 45, verse 6. That land will run 8.3 miles east to west and 1.7 miles north to south. In the middle of it, there will be a 1.7-mile square city. In verse 17, the pasture lands around the circumference of the city are a very small buffer zone of about 440 feet. Parkland, we might describe it. In verse 18, there will be 2 strips of common land, one east and one west of the city. The arithmetic works out to 3.3 by 1.7 miles per strip. Speaking of that land, still in verse 18, its increase shall be for food to those who labor in the city. Those who labor in the city out of all the tribes of Israel shall cultivate it. All the offerings shall be a square of 25,000 by 25,000. You shall offer it as a holy offering with the possession of the city. Comment: in verses 18 to 19, the labor force of the common city will consist of Israelites. Since they'll live there, they won't be farming or gardening their tribal land. Therefore, Yahweh has provided the common land on each side of the city where they'll have plots assigned to them. Verse 20 mentions the offering 25,000 by 25,000. This is the 8.3 by 8.3 square mile section for the priests, Levites, and the common land just discussed. Israel will offer all that land to Yahweh. They'll partition it the way Yahweh describes here and use it according to these intentions. Now east and west of that 8.3 square miles, verse 21, the remainder shall be for the prince on the one side and on the other side of the holy offering and of the possession of the city, in front of the 25,000 of the offering toward the east border, and westward in front of the 25,000 toward the west border. Alongside the portions it shall be for the prince. The holy offering and the sanctuary of the house shall be in the middle of it. Moreover, from the possession of the Levites and from the possession of the city, being in the middle of that which is the prince's, between the border of Judah and the border of Benjamin, shall be for the prince. Comment: in verses 21 and 22, the prince has 2 sections of land, one east and one west of the 8.3 square mile holy offering. As for the boundaries of the prince's western tract, they're the Mediterranean on the west, Judah on the north, the 8.3 square mile holy offering on the east, and Benjamin on the south. And for the borders of the prince's eastern tract, the western border is the 8.3 square miles. The northern is Judah, the eastern is wherever the border of Israel is, and the southern is Benjamin. Now south of all that, verse 23, as for the rest of the tribes from the east side to the west side, Benjamin one portion. By the border of Benjamin from the east side to the west side, Simeon one portion. By the border of Simeon from the east side to the west side, Issachar one portion. By the border of Issachar from the east side to the west side, Zebulun one portion. By the border of Zebulun from the east side to the west side, Gad one portion. By the border of Gad at the south side southward, the border shall be even from Tamar to the waters of Meribath Kadesh to the brook to the great sea. This is the land which you shall divide by lot to the tribes of Israel for inheritance, and these are their several portions, says the Lord Yahweh. Comment: the description of the land is complete in verse 29. In verses 23 to 28, below the prince's land and below the 8.3 miles square, working our way from north to south, there is Benjamin, Simeon, Issachar, Zebulun, and Gad. Those 5 southern tribes are a mirror of the 7 northern tribes in that they extend from the Mediterranean on the west to the border of Israel on the east, and in that the shape of their allotment is probably relatively long east to west and narrow north to south. Now Yahweh will return to the common city. As he mentioned previously, it'll be square-shaped. Each side of the square will be 1.5 miles, and the city will be walled and gated with 12 gates, 3 gates per side, 1 gate for each of the 12 tribes. Verse 30. These are the exits of the city. On the north side, 4,500 reeds by measure, and the gates of the city shall be named after the tribes of Israel. 3 gates northward, the gate of Reuben, 1, the gate of Judah, 1, the gate of Levi, 1. At the east side, 4,500 reeds, and 3 gates, even the gate of Joseph, 1, the gate of Benjamin, 1, the gate of Dan, 1. At the south side, 4,500 reeds by measure, and 3 gates, the gate of Simeon, 1, the gate of Issachar, 1, the gate of Zebulun, 1. At the west side, 4,500 reeds, with their 3 gates, the gate of Gad, 1, the gate of Asher, 1, the gate of Naphtali, 1. It shall be 18,000 reeds around, and the name of the city from that day shall be Yahweh is there. Comment: in verses 30 to 34, the gates on the north side of the city are named after tribes to the north, and on the south after tribes to the south. On the east and west, there's no correlation. The name of a gate could be of a tribe to the north or south. There are no gates called Ephraim or Manasseh because those two are represented in verse 32 by their father Joseph having a gate. In Revelation 21:12, the New Jerusalem of eternity also has 12 gates, named after the 12 tribes. In verse 35, the city of the commons will be called Yahweh is there. In the original Hebrew of verse 35, the 18,000 lacks any units. Ezekiel leaves us to assume it's cubits, but oftentimes translators get it wrong and insert reeds, which is what our translation says. It has to be cubits to be consistent with the text and to keep it from being a ridiculously large area that won't fit on the map. Given that it's cubits, all of Ezekiel's math in this chapter adds up and is consistent with what he wrote in previous chapters. The circumference of the city is about 6 miles in verse 35, which is the correct sum of the 4 sides. As a cap to the last 9 chapters of Ezekiel, which is his long vision of an age to come, including the layout of the temple, the law of the temple, and the layout of all the land, there's a lot of mystery to it. The dividing line between the literal and the metaphorical is according to individual taste, but your narrator will treat it as literal until proven otherwise. A literal approach crystallizes the material in our minds better and forces us to dissect the text more carefully to make sure everything adds up, which it does. As long as we're convinced our God is behind it and that he's more apt to understatement than exaggeration, it's bound to be an exciting future, whether we parsed it out correctly or not, whether this part here or that part there was literal or figurative. That's the book of Ezekiel. Please find our materials on YouTube or podcast at the Land of Havilah channel, whatever format you're on. Thank you for listening, and God bless.